Alright, so here I have my two ovaries, and if we look, we can see that the ovary is connected to the mesovarium, which is a broad ligament that suspends the ovaries, and it is attached to the mesovarium by the hilus, you can see here. And in the mesovarium, we have the uterine vein and the uterine artery, and the uterine vein is what releases the hormones from the ovary into the bloodstream. And so we have two main functions of the ovary. They release ova and they produce hormones like progesterone, oxytocin, estrogen, and inhibin. And the ovary has an ovoid or almond shape in the bovine. And so on the outside, we can see that the ovary, we'll look at this one, has kind of a whitish appearance. That is the tunica albuginea. That's what gives ovaries their whitish appearance. And on the outside, we can see a little bit of these fluid-filled structures. Those are Graafian follicles. They are the largest pre-ovulatory follicle, and they are fluid-filled in the antrum, known as the dominant follicle. And as we can see here, there's this little divoted, thin area on this ovary. This was a fluid-filled follicle, and when I did cut into it, as you can see there is empty, it exploded everywhere. So it was, I should have saved it for the video, but it was very interesting. And so on the outside, we can see something called a corpus albicans, which is little white scars which are regressed forms of corpus luteums. And so, let's see here, they are little gray scars from where we had corpus luteums before. And then there are also tertiary follicles that have the opportunity to become Graafian follicles. Alright, and if we go on the inside, we can take a closer look at the antrum, which is that little pocket where that was fluid filled here. Antrums are cell-free areas that are filled with follicular fluid, also known as a Graafian follicle, and that produces estrogen. And within this follicle pocket, the antral follicle, they have what's called a basement membrane, which is the membrane that holds the fluid inside, so it holds all the cells and the fluids into one area so they don't go around everywhere. And inside that fluid, there's granulosa cells and theca cells. Granulosa cells produce estrogens and progesterone, and from the theca cells, the theca cells produce something called androgens, which are then used to produce estrogens in the granulosa cells. And an enzyme called aromatase takes testosterone from these theca cells and converts it into estrogen. So all the granulosa and the theca cells really work together. And then there's also something in the ovaries called the corpus luteum, which is also called the yellow body. This produces progesterone to maintain pregnancy and develops after the follicle ovulates from granulosa cells. And so in this one, you don't really see, you can see a little bit of the yellow body here. See right there? That's a little bit of where the corpus luteum could be. And then we have the medulla right there. See a little circle right there? That is the medulla. That is the center of the ovary where the blood vessels, nerves, and lymph enter the ovary. And then right as we get into the ovary, right under the outside, the tunica albuginea, we have the surface epithelium and then the cortex. And the cortex is where all the structures on the ovary grow and develop. Alright, and so that's mostly the ovary. I just wanted to show you this ovary over here. This is a very interesting ovary. The reason I did not use this ovary is because it looked like it's all corpus luteum. It's all this yellow body, which I think is very interesting. I don't know what to think about that. You can see on the sides it has a little bit of Graafian follicles, like little fluid-filled structures, but it's really, really thick, and it's almost all corpus luteum. So I don't know if that's a something genetically faltering or anything like that. Like this one over here seemed to be a working, perfectly normal ovary, but this one over here was very, very interesting. So I thought I'd show you that. Thank you.